What would you say if a detective pushed a recorder towards you right now and told you to explain yourself? If you guess wrong in that moment, you can build the case against yourself. If you say the right 6 words, the whole interview can stop moving your way and start protecting you. Hit subscribe right now because what I'm about to show you could save your future when your brain freezes under pressure. Like this video too, because panic makes you forget simple lines and you need these words stuck in your head. Most people have no idea how fast a simple chat with police turns into a confession you never meant to give. You think you can talk your way out, clear things up, or sound helpful, but the second you start filling silence, you start giving them pieces they can lock into a story. Let me show you exactly what you're about to learn. First, the 6-word line that clearly asks for a lawyer without sounding shaky. Second, the follow-up sentence you use if they keep pushing you anyway. Third, the question that tells you whether you're stuck there or you can leave. And fourth, the one search line that stops you from giving away your car, your bag, or your phone with your own mouth. You don't need big legal words. You don't need to argue. You don't need to be rude. You need short lines, calm delivery, and the discipline to stop talking after you say them. Here's the reality. Police are trained to keep you talking. They may act friendly. They may act disappointed. They may act like they already know everything. They may tell you this is your chance to help yourself. Your instinct is to explain. Your instinct is to defend yourself. Your instinct is to fix the awkward silence. That instinct gets people buried every day. You say one extra detail, then another. Then you start guessing, correcting, and trying to sound innocent. That is exactly when your words stop being your shield and start being evidence. You do not win an interrogation by sounding smarter. You win by using your rights clearly and then shutting your mouth. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. The goal is not to convince the officer. The goal is to protect your future. The first move is the strongest one, and it's the reason people click this title. Here's exactly what you say. I want a lawyer before answering. Word for word, memorize that line. It is 6 words. It is clear. It is direct. It does not sound confused. It does not sound like a maybe. It does not invite a debate. Listen closely because this is critical. If you say something soft, like, do you think I need a lawyer, or maybe I should talk to somebody, you leave a door open. And when you leave a door open, questioning often keeps going. But when you say, I want a lawyer before answering, you are doing 2 things at once. You are asking for counsel, and you are telling them you are not answering now. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings in Miranda v. Arizona. The court said that when you are in custody and police want to question you, you have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. The court also said if you say you want a lawyer before speaking, questioning must stop. Then Davis v. United States made one more thing painfully clear. Your request has to be clear, not fuzzy. Not half joking, not scared and vague, clear. That is why these 6 words matter so much. They are short enough to remember and strong enough to be understood. Bad way. Most drivers say, I've got nothing to hide, ask me anything. Then they keep talking, get trapped in details, and hand over facts police can test, twist, or compare later. Good way. Smart drivers say, I want a lawyer before answering. Then the pressure changes because you stopped giving them fresh material to use against you. Watch what happens when you use the weak version instead. Police keep talking. They tell you a lawyer makes you look guilty. They say innocent people just explain. They tell you they're trying to help. They may even say asking for a lawyer makes this take longer. None of that changes your right. This is 100% legal. You are not being difficult. You are not admitting guilt. You are using the protection the Constitution gives you before your own words get used as a weapon. Legal experts agree this is your strongest protection. Why? Because every other tactic in this video works better once you stop feeding the interview. If you ask to leave before asking for counsel, you may still talk too much. If you refuse a search but keep answering questions, you still create risk. But when you ask for a lawyer clearly, you cut off the biggest danger first, which is your own mouth under stress. And stress changes everything. You forget times. You mix up words. You try to be helpful. Then your helpful guess becomes a lie in their report. That is why you never wait until halfway through the interview. You use the line early. You use it clearly, and then you stop. Have you ever felt pressure to keep talking just because the silence got uncomfortable? Tell me in the comments, because that's the moment most people lose control. Now let's talk about the second line, because sometimes police keep poking after you've already shut one door. Here is exactly what you say. I do not want to answer questions. Say it calmly. Say it once, then stop. Here's the trick they don't want you knowing. Silence by itself is not always enough. Just staring at the table, shrugging, or giving tiny noises can still leave room for trouble. A lot of people think if they just stop talking, that automatically protects them. Not always. Berghuis for Thompkins is the warning you need burned into your brain. In that case, the Supreme Court said a suspect who sat mostly silent for a long time still did not clearly use the right to remain silent because he never said he wanted to stop the questioning. The court even pointed out that if he had made a simple, clear statement that he did not want to talk, that would have been enough. That is huge for you. It means your rights are strongest when you say them out loud in plain English. Then there is Salinas v. Texas. That case teaches another hard lesson. Just going quiet before arrest or before Miranda warnings is not always treated like you used your right. The court said you generally have to claim the protection if you want the protection. So do not play the mystery game. Do not assume the officer will get the hint. Do not think your silence speaks for itself. Your silence may feel powerful to you, but clear words are stronger in the real world. Bad way, most drivers say, I already told you everything, and then keep answering one more question, then one more, then one more. Good way. Smart drivers say, I do not want to answer questions, then they stop volunteering details that can be compared against body cam texts, receipts, and witness statements. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings again. If you want the right to protect you, you should say the right clearly, and notice how simple this sentence is. No fancy words, no speech, no anger, just a clean stop sign. I do not want to answer questions. That works in a police room, on a sidewalk, or next to your car. If the officer keeps talking, you do not debate. You do not explain why. You do not say, only because I'm nervous. That extra talking weakens the whole move. You just repeat the line if needed and stay quiet. There's another reason this matters for you. A lot of innocent people talk because they think silence looks guilty, but talking under pressure can look even worse. You guess at a time. You say you were around there. You say you might have seen someone. Later, the video, the phone records, or another witness says something different. Now you look like a liar when really you were just stressed. Your goal is not to look perfect in the moment. Your goal is to avoid giving bad evidence from your own mouth. The third move tells you whether police can hold you there or whether you can end the contact. You look at the officer and say this, am I being detained or am I free to leave? Those exact words matter because they force the moment to become clear. Are you actually being held or are you standing there because pressure made you stay? You need to know which one it is because your next move depends on the answer. If the officer says you are free to leave, you leave calmly. No speeches, no last-minute explanation, no smart comment on the way out. You leave. If the officer says you are being detained, now you know you are not in a casual chat anymore. That is when your other lines matter even more. You ask for your lawyer. You say you do not want to answer questions, and you stop helping them build the interview. Bad way. Most drivers say, I'm sure this won't take long, and then stand there 20 extra minutes while the stop turns into a fishing trip. Good way. Smart drivers say, am I being detained or am I free to leave? Then they either leave or they know it is time to use their rights and stop talking. Legal experts agree this is your strongest protection when an officer is stretching the encounter. Terry v. Ohio tells you police can stop and frisk someone under limited conditions, but a stop is not a blank check for endless questioning. And Rodriguez v. United States says officers cannot drag out a normal traffic stop longer than needed just to go chasing unrelated stuff without proper reason. In simple English, a stop has a job. Once that job is done, police do not get unlimited extra time just because they feel curious. This matters for your daily life more than you think. Maybe you got pulled over for a plate light. Maybe an officer walked up to you on a sidewalk. Maybe a detective says, you're not under arrest. I just want your side. The moment feels small. That is why people get careless. But your question changes the whole frame. Are you free to go? Yes or no? If yes, go. If no, stop talking and ask for counsel. Former police officers have confirmed this works because it forces the contact into a clear lane. Either they have a legal reason to hold you, or they do not. Most viewers already clicked away. If you're still here, you're the one who will actually remember this under pressure. Drop a comment saying, I'm still here, because the next part protects your car, your bag, and your phone. The fourth move is about searches, because a lot of people stop answering questions, but still give away the evidence with one polite word. Here's exactly what you say. I do not consent to any searches. Memorize that line too. You are not fighting. You are not pulling away. You are not physically blocking anything. You are simply refusing permission. That matters because police love easy consent. Easy consent saves them time. Easy consent kills your ability to challenge the search later. This is 100% legal. And you need to say it even if you think they might search anyway. Why? Because consent changes everything. If you agree, you help them. If you refuse, they have to stand on some other legal ground. Maybe they claim probable cause. Maybe they get a warrant. Maybe they do nothing. But your refusal keeps you from being the reason the search happened. Bad way. Most drivers say, sure, go ahead, I've got nothing in there. Then the search happens with their permission and they cannot take that word back. Good way. Smart drivers say, I do not consent to any searches. Then the officer has to rely on something other than your mouth. This line also works with your phone, your backpack, your trunk, and your pockets as long as you stay calm and do not interfere physically. If they order you out of the car, get out. If they tell you to put your hands somewhere, do it, but you can still make your refusal clear while you comply. That is the sweet spot. Polite, calm, firm. Rodriguez matters here too, because a routine stop is not supposed to become a free hunt just because you got nervous and wanted to seem cooperative. You do not help a search by talking it into existence. Here's the reality. None of these lines are magic spells. If police already have a warrant or another legal reason, they may still act, but your words still matter. They protect the record. They show you did not volunteer your rights away, and that can matter later in a very big way. Now let's put the law behind all of this into plain English so you know why these lines work. Miranda v. Arizona says, if police have you in custody and want to question you, they must warn you about your right to stay silent and your right to a lawyer. In kid-level English, that means the government knows questioning is dangerous for you, so it built guardrails. Davis v. United States says, your request for a lawyer has to be clear. Plain English maybe is weak, but I want a lawyer before answering is clear. Berghuis v. Thompkins says sitting there quietly is not always enough by itself. In plain English, you should say out loud that you do not want to answer questions. And Salinas v. Texas says that before arrest, just going quiet may not protect you unless you clearly claim the right. This comes straight from Supreme Court rulings. The pattern is simple. Clear words beat hints. Short lines beat long explanations. And using your rights early beats trying to fix a mess later. Let me show you exactly how this sounds in a real stop, because this is where your nerves usually blow everything up. You get pulled over at night. The officer takes your license, comes back, and starts asking where you're coming from, who you were with, and whether you have anything illegal in the car. You feel your chest getting tight, so you start chatting. You say, I was just at my friend's place. Well, actually, my cousin's place. I mean, both. We were hanging out for a bit. Now you are correcting yourself. Then the officer asks if you would mind stepping out. You say yes. Then he asks if he can take a quick look in the car. You say, sure, I've got nothing to hide. Bad way. Most drivers say, I'm happy to cooperate, and then talk themselves into a longer stop, a search, and a report full of messy details. Now watch what happens when you do it the right way. The officer starts asking extra questions. You stay calm and ask, am I being detained or am I free to leave? If the officer says you are still being detained for the stop, you do not fill the silence. If the questions turn accusatory, you say, I do not want to answer questions. If they keep pressing or they want a full interview, you use the 6-word line. I want a lawyer before answering. If they ask to search, you say, I do not consent to any searches. Good way. Smart drivers say the right short lines, comply with lawful orders physically, and stop donating information with their mouths. Your tone stays respectful. Your body stays calm. Your words stay short. That is how you protect yourself without turning a stop into a shouting match. Next week, I'm revealing what to say when police claim they smell weed and try to use that as a shortcut into your car. Subscribe right now so you don't miss it, because that excuse changes cases every single day, so lock this in. First, if questioning starts getting serious, say, I want a lawyer before answering. Second, if you do not want to talk, say, I do not want to answer questions, because clear words protect you better than hints. Third, ask, am I being detained or am I free to leave? So you know whether you can walk away or need to shut down the contact. Fourth, if they ask to search, say, I do not consent to any searches. You do not need a speech, you need a script. Short, calm, repeatable. That is how you protect your future when pressure hits fast. Hit subscribe so you catch that next video on the weed smell claim. Smash like if this script just gave you words you did not have before.
And drop a comment telling me which line you're going to memorize first. Stay safe out there.